It's fine, and with the plethora, whatever, how you say that word,
Plethora.
plethora. Thank you. I said it wrong twice. Mark it down 2 times. Welcome to the Nerd Enthusiast Gaming Podcast, where today we're going to be discussing the best games we played in 2024. Now, the caveat is these don't have to be games from 2024. You know, we play retro games and stuff all the time, so they're just the best games in general that we played this year. We're going to have some stinkers at first. We're going to move into some stuff we actually enjoyed and talk about the great games we played this year. Then we're going to round up things with the Stupid Game Awards. We have 7 or 8 nominations to give away. I guess not nominations, awards to give away, I should say. And then we're going to wrap up here with our Game of the Year pick that we played this year and a pulse check. So, before we get started, just a quick sponsorship we had today. Shout out to buzzleshopping.com. You guys can go over there. You can download their app if you just search for Buzzle Shopping. Their app is a social media / shopping hybrid. It's really cool and different. Finally, guys, I want to mention, if you like what you hear today, please consider supporting us over on Patreon. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. Shout out to Peter for supporting us this month. We appreciate your support, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
And you guys can get shout outs and stuff like that over there. Exclusive content from the gaming section. We got poker content on there. Check it out on Patreon. If you like what you're hearing, if you're on audio podcast, please consider giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That definitely helps us out. All right, Wes, it is time for the best games we played in 2024 and some of the worst. But we will start out with let's be kind and to say they're the not so great games of 2024 that we played. And again, they didn't come out necessarily in 2024. We just played them in 2024. Mm-hmm. Where would you like to begin?
I'm going to begin with this one was just bad. And I was upset because I was really looking forward to it. It was Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Oh, man.
There was so much hype surrounding that game.
I was not looking forward to it, so I'm glad. I mean, I'm not glad that it did bad, right? But I'm just like,
it coming from the makers of the fantastic Batman Arkham series, the hype surrounding it was through the roof until they started showing it, and I'm like, wait, why does this look like Fortnite? And it's like, ugh. And then it was just like a live service game, and then you started to play it, and I just, not good.
I just couldn't understand why they all had guns. I'm like, this doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay.
Highly disappointed. From what I hear, it lost millions and millions of dollars.
Well, now I think it's either already done or it's going to be like, I think the live stuff is going to be turned off in the near future, but like all the DLC and stuff is going to be like available. So if you just buy the game, I think you get like all the DLC and
everything.
Yeah.
At this point, they're just trying to give the game away.
Oh yeah, it's fire sale, man. Here's the $120 version. It's $5. You can pick it up today.
They just should have just stuck to their guns and did a single player story, with, I don't know, with different characters, or give us our Superman game that they've been talking about, or Wonder Woman game, but this was not it.
Yeah, they lost a lot of people from the studio too. Like the most talented people at the top, like left. All their leadership went on, and like I think at least 2 of them made like their own studios or something now. So like, not to say that the talent still doesn't exist at that studio, but like usually the people at the top are the ones that are like directing the vision of what they're doing. So not having those people in place is like, man, we'll see. Let me give you mine because I only have one, and I don't want to be mean to this game. I don't think it's a bad game. It's more of a product of its time, but I heard this game was awesome, and I really wanted to play it. Eventually, I got it, just a digital download of it, because the physical copies on PS1 were kind of expensive, and I just wanted to check the game out, because I love platformers. And this is Klonoa, Door to Phantomville. I only played the first part, which was Fantasy Reverie series. Oh, I'm sorry. The Door to Phantomville was part of the Phantom Reverie series because that's like a combination that has like I think 2 or 3 Klonoa games in it.
Hmm.
But Door to Phantomville is the one or Phantom Mile. I don't know. I played that one, and it was fine. Not. It was very.
Really?
I was very indifferent to the game. I'm like, why does everybody love this game? And I don't know if it's too Japanese. I don't know. I like some Japanese stuff, but it's
Hmm.
just I don't know, man.
You really? Oh man, I remember Klonoa on the PS1, and I enjoyed it. I really liked it. And then we got the PS2 game. Yeah, you're just not feeling Klonoa, huh?
I played it multiple times. I tried to get into it. Something I could play around my daughter, and she liked the colors and stuff, but not something she would like continuously ask for. There'll be a game I mentioned later that she absolutely loved. Yeah, so we'll talk about that shortly. But it didn't capture her attention. It certainly didn't capture mine. It was just very
There.
fine. I mean,
It
if I
was
if you're like you need something to pass the time, it'll do.
okay.
But it's like there was no drive for me to like, oh my god, I gotta play Klonoa. There was none of that. What was your last one, man?
So this one, it's not that it was a bad game. It just didn't hold my attention like I thought it would. And it was a big budget title from the Star Wars universe, and I'm talking about Star Wars Outlaws.
Outlaws. Okay.
Out. It was I okay. I'm trying to put it into words. I didn't hate the game. I didn't dislike the game. I just got bored with it.
Yeah, it's like an indifference. You're just like, yeah, it's fine. And with the plethora, whatever, how you say that word, of
Plethora.
all plethora. Thank you. I said it wrong twice. Mark it down 2 times. Uh, I'm not even trying to say it again. With so many great games available now,
Hmm.
why would you waste your time on something you're just like, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't your traditional Star Wars game. Like there's no lightsabers in it. You're not a Jedi. You're a thief. And it was fine. It just didn't hold my interest like I thought I would. I went into it super excited. And then as I played it, and I played maybe about 10 hours or so into it, and it just kind of, eh,
Yeah, you gave it a fair shake. 10 hours is quite a bit.
yeah.
So with me, if you guys know me, my number one thing is gameplay, right? So how was the gameplay? How was the combat? Did that at least feel good, or was it like,
It was okay. It was fine.
it's okay?
Blasters, it was fine.
Now, if Wes says it's fine, you got to remember Wes loves everything. So this is like not very good. So the combat was whatever. What about was the story good?
It was fine, I guess. It just didn't. I don't know.
Nothing stood out.
It
It didn't
didn't.
like
It
stand
really
out like
didn't.
most, the majority of Star Wars games, at least in,
Correct. Because
newer
normally
ones do.
I'll play a Star Wars game from beginning to end,
Hmm.
and usually they're pretty good. This one just, eh.
Yeah, even some of the bad Star Wars games thinking about are like pretty decent. Like man, there's been quite a few. It's amazing how many good Star Wars games have been, even on
Hmm.
NES. Man, those NES ones are pretty good. You know, Super
Hmm.
Nintendo had awesome ones. They were hard,
They
but
were
they were pretty
hard.
cool.
No, there you go. I was just like, yeah, there it is. Not my not so great games I played this year in
I
2024.
I only had that one to mention, and I've been keeping track. I'm gonna give you guys my list of everything that I played this year. I'll go through it extremely briefly, so and I'll just highlight a couple of things. But yeah, I don't have time to play crappy games, so I really go out of my way to make sure that that's not happening anymore. Klonoa I heard was great, that's why I played it. All right, so now we got The most enjoyable games are the greatest games we played in 2024. Again, caveat, doesn't necessarily mean the game came out in 2024. Wes, you're kicking things off, sir. Where would you like to begin with your list?
Okay, so my first game came out late 2023. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but I don't think I started playing it until this year, like early this year. I think this was like the first game I started playing, or if I played it into 2023, into 2024. But that was
Yeah, like the
RoboCop.
end of December into January.
Yeah, like RoboCop, Rogue City.
Awesome.
That
That
game
game's
was
supposed to be really good.
woo. It was good. It was really good. It was from the same team that did a little known game called Terminator.
Yeah, was it Terminator Resistance? Was that the one they did?
Yep.
Yeah, and that game got good reviews as well.
Nobody knew about that game.
Yeah,
I found out about it way later. I was fortunate enough to get a copy of it, played it, completion great. Same team did RoboCop. It felt like it was a sequel to the movie.
does it like pick up where the movie ends?
Yes.
That's cool. So if you watch the movie, then it goes right into it. That's
You
awesome.
know, yeah, you kind of know what's going on. Um it's good. Graphics were good, gameplay was good. You know, you felt like you were playing as RoboCop.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That was surprisingly well done.
About how many hours did it take for you to beat it?
Oof. I really want to say maybe 15 to 20 hours.
Sounds perfect. It sounds so perfect. I hate playing long games. I do play a lot of long games, but you know, those games are like the best for me. Like 15 hours, 20 hours,
Mhm.
something right around there is like ideal. That sounds fantastic. I'm gonna have to get to that at some point.
It's good. It's definitely worth playing through. Next game I played, I thought that was fantastic, which I just recently beat Silent Hill 2 Remake.
Okay, I picked this up on Black Friday. I got it
Hmm.
for like $30. I was super stoked about that. What did you think of the remake?
It was good. Okay, is it better than the Resident Evil remakes? I don't know, but I know it's a different type of game, so I can't really compare it. But I do remember Silent Hill 2 on PS2, and this is good.
Do they
They did
make
a
any changes to the story compared to the PS2 version? It was a PS2 version, yeah.
I think they added a little bit more story elements into it.
Okay.
Uh, Graphics, of course, it's a remake, so we're redone from the ground up. But as you're playing it, you do, if you've ever played Silent Hill back in the day, as you're playing the remake, a lot of that stuff kind of comes back to mind. It's like, oh man, okay, I remember this, and this happens, and Pyramid Head is still just as menacing and terrifying as he was back then.
This is something I definitely want to check out for sure. Um, now I know I just asked you this for the last one. How long did it take you to beat this one? Because this I have to wedge somewhere in 2025.
It's about the same, about 20 hours.
Okay,
Um,
totally doable.
there's 6 different endings.
Oh no, I hate that, dude. Oh my god,
Yeah, there's 6 different endings depending
I
upon
wasn't
how you
aware of that.
play, what you
Jesus.
do. So with no
I just want their
spoilers.
ending. Just give me the ending. I don't want to sit here and guess of what to do. How do you get a perfect run where I'm assuming that's what they want you to do. They want you to play a specific way to
Hmm.
get the good ending, right?
Hmm.
How does that even work? What do you have to do?
Uh, a lot of
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
okay. Is it going to spoil the game?
I got the B ending. I got the okay ending,
Okay. So
which I'm okay with that.
there's like two more above yours, like an A ending and like an S
No,
tier or something.
there's one more above me.
One more above. Okay. Okay.
And then there's the one below me is if you do certain things in the game, you get that ending. And then there's like endings that are just like totally ridiculous. So
I'm sure I'd get the worst one. I'm positive I would.
yeah,
I have no doubt.
it was good. Man, it was really good. Very, very impressed. Now if they give us a remake of the first one, I'll be very happy.
That would be cool.
Another game I played that I thought was fantastic was Prince of Persia.
Okay.
We did. we did a video talking about the evolution of Prince of Persia, and I've always had a soft spot for Prince of Persia. So when I heard this was coming out, I was super super stoked. I was a little skeptical because they changed the gameplay mechanics from what I was expecting of Prince of Persia. Like I was expecting like Sands of Time, like 3D type of gameplay, and it's 2 dimensional, Metroidvania style. So it took me. I was super excited, but it took me a minute to warm up to it.
I bought all the Prince of Persia games back in the day, and I never played them. And it wasn't because I
Oof.
thought they were bad or anything. It was a time, and I spent all my money on video games back in the
Mhm.
day. I was an idiot. So I bought like everything that I possibly could have at that point in my life. PS2, GameCube, Xbox generation. I own a ton of games for those three systems. So I have all the Prince of Persia games. Never played them.
Mm.
But then I heard the magical words of 2D Metroidvania. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. It was a good game. Very
It's
good
good.
game.
It was good. It was good. I said, I admit, man, you're missing out. If you're missing out, you need to go back and play them.
What Sands,
I
like the Sands of Time and Warrior Within and all those?
Yeah, man.
I just need infinite time. Time is the one currency that I cannot get no matter what. Like I mean, I guess you could somehow, but I don't know. I could quit my job and like just play video games until I run out of the, the money I have saved or something like that. But I don't have any time, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. I need to
Well,
retire, Wes. That's what needs to happen.
you and me both. You and me both. And I could sit in my room and just play games all
Right?
day. So yeah, that was Prince of Persia was good. All right, Ubisoft, you gave me one good one, so now just give me the remake of Sands of Time. Life will be good.
Right?
Um, I'm currently playing A Quiet Place.
That's based off the movie, right?
Yes, it is like a side story. Play as like a random character.
What is the game like? I mean, I've never seen the movie, so I can't speak much to that. Um,
What,
I don't watch movies, Wes. You know this about me. Like I've every
Matt?
awesome movie that exists. There's a like 90% chance I've never seen it. Maybe 95% chance that I've never seen it. But I know that the movie's supposed to be awesome.
The first movie, fantastic. Second movie, really good. The third one they did, man, I could have. It didn't need to be made, but the first one, top notch, so good. And so it's the game. The gameplay feels like Alien Isolation. If you've
Okay.
ever played Alien Isolation, that tension you got playing the game because you had to be quiet because the alien would hear you and start hunting you. Uh, the first person perspective. And so Quiet Place is very, very similar. The game does use a microphone if you have one hooked up. So it's based on noise.
I
So
remember hearing that. That's really cool.
yeah, it's pissing me off because I don't have a mic hooked up, but it does detect sound. I'm not sure if it's through the controller, but in the game, I'm always kicking a can, like a random can that's like in my way.
Like no matter what, you're always like you seem to be walking over a can.
Everything it's bumping into something, and it's always and it's so it's very tedious.
Well, I think the problem is you're just emulating real life because every time you shoot a game store walkthrough video for us, you trip over something. So
I do. I'm always tripping over something. So, but yes, Quiet Place, I do recommend. It is very, very good. Very, very good. Stressful, but very good. What else did I play? Tekken 8. Love my fighters. Tekken 8 was Tekken 8 was it.
I heard it was like top notch this year, like the best Tekken in a long, long time.
Tekken 8 was it. So yeah, man.
I mean,
Going to
you're the fighting game expert on here. Was that the best fighting game that came out in 2024 that you played?
yes.
Okay.
I think it's probably the only fighting game I played this year.
Okay. Well, then I guess that limits it down, but sure.
Yeah, going to New York Comic Con, they had like Tekken tournaments, Tekken 8 tournaments. I wasn't good enough to compete. I looked at what the competition was. I I wasn't even making an attempt to play, but I enjoyed it in the comfort of my home.
Yeah, there's so much meta that goes on with that stuff. People look into like deep details and like figure out the best characters and like I don't know, dude. I don't have time for that crap. Like I would just pick a character and get my ass beat and I'd be moving on to the next thing.
It's got, you know what? I'm curious to see what the new Virtual Fighter is going to be like because they're bringing Virtual Fighter back.
I saw that, man. I saw
Woo!
it. I was so stoked. I was like, dude, I haven't played Virtual Fighter in like since this is a remake of 5 and I don't know if I played 5. I know I played 4 cuz that was on 4 was on PS2, right? Right?
Yes, yes,
So 4 was the one I played the most then, and I really, really liked 4 quite a bit.
yeah. 5 was the last one that they came out with.
And that would have been on like PS3.
PS3, PS4
Okay.
ish. Yeah,
Yeah, it's cool to
yeah.
bringing it back, but I mean, I don't. Those games you have to invest time in, man. You really have to learn your characters in
You
Virtual
do.
Fighter.
You really do. I mean, same thing with Tekken. I think Virtual Fighter is a little bit more technical
Yeah, yeah.
than
Virtual Fighter is the
Tekken.
most technical fighting game I think I've ever played. I mean, that game
Hmm.
is like very challenging in my opinion, like
No, yeah,
compared to
you
most fighting games.
you can button mash all you want, but if you really want to get good, yeah, you need to take the time to learn a character and all its moves. But no, Tekken 8. And then I played Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2.
Now, this does not sound like a West game, so you got to explain to me
Ooh.
how you got put onto this. Are you actually a Warhammer fan and I didn't know this about you, or what's going on with that?
And no, I've never played like the miniature Warhammer stuff,
I didn't think
but
so.
if there was a game, a video game, I played it. Like I remember back in the day, they did Space Hulk, which was a Doom clone set in the Warhammer universe.
That's pretty cool. When did
Um,
that come out?
I think I had that for 3DO, so it's like that
Oh
period.
man, that's a minute ago.
Yeah, yeah. But Space Marine is very Gears of War with
Okay,
without the cover. But
that's the whole game of Gears of War, but okay.
it's run and gun. It really is just straight up run and gun.
Interesting. So it feels like you're doing that roadie run, like the third
Mm-hmm.
person over the shoulder camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. The first one came out for 360. I
Hmm.
want to say 360. Yep. And then they did the second one, and it's man,
It was either 360 or Xbox One, but I remember
it's
that first one came out.
mm-hmm.
The Space Marine.
Yep. You need to jump on it. If
That
you
might be
just
something I play. Just the Warhammer thing turns me off so much. I'm like, I don't care about Warhammer. Like,
it's the game is just set in that universe, but once the action starts, you're just mowing down hordes of enemies.
now that sounds good to me.
That's all you're doing, just cutting through. You have a chainsaw sword
I
that you
mean, that's
can.
just Gears of War. Come on now,
It's
like,
straight up, yeah. But so you have your gun in one hand, and then you got your chainsaw sword in your other hand. So it's mowing them down. Space Marine 2. And I think my final game that's really, really good was Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
okay, yeah, that was on many people's like game of the year list.
Mm,
I haven't played it. I have. I don't have that. I didn't even buy that one. I bought 7 remake. I played the demo of that. It was awesome, but I never actually played the game. I bought the game because the demo was great. Never played the game, and I have to play that game before I play Rebirth for sure. So,
oh, I loved Remake, the first one. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Couldn't find anything wrong with it.
do you
Perfect
think
game.
this game was better than remake?
I don't know. I think I like Remake better.
Okay.
It continues the story, and it's really good. It's one of the best games I played this year.
Is the
Um,
combat the same as the first one? Because
yep,
that was outstanding to me. I couldn't believe how good the combat
yep.
was. But obviously, I'm coming from the aspect of not really liking turn-based games, and this is kind of like
Mhm.
a action turn-based hybrid sort of thing.
Correct. You could set your controls to traditional turn based, or you can do real time combat. Yeah, graphics were good, story's good. You know, yeah. Now just got to wait for the next one.
Yeah, the next one will be the last one, right? It's going to be a trilogy.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. So that's my quick list of really good games that I played and enjoyed in 2024. So now, what's your list?
So before I get into my list, just a reminder: make sure you guys continue to watch because another segment will come up where we actually pick our game of the year that we played this year. All right, guys. So the great games that I played for this year, I'm going to go over right now. I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of what my year looked like. There's a few games that weren't on here that I just played for a few minutes, like retro games and stuff like that. You know, like Berserker for Dreamcast, stuff like that. I played that one session for an hour probably. So I'm not counting like a lot of the retro stuff in here because I didn't really dedicate my time to beating them. Anything that I spent more than that in, I'll mention on here now. Starting out, I completed 10 games this year, like fully completed them. Legend of
Okay.
Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I did not beat the game 100%, but I did put 150 hours into the game.
Wow.
So, and to be fair, that began in 2023 and brought me into 2024. So that was in like, I don't even remember, Wes. It could have been like October, November when I started
Mhm.
that game, and I didn't get it done until I want to say the very end of January, something like that. Maybe February. No, it was January, and we'll figure out why later. So it was January. What an outstanding game! Legend of Zelda is the sequel to Breath of the Wild. It
Mhm.
does everything Breath of the Wild does better. If I was to go back and play this, I don't even know. Like I probably would play Breath of the Wild at some point, but really this game is just superior in every way. So I don't really see the point in playing Breath of the Wild when I can play Tears of the Kingdom.
I got Tears of the Kingdom and I've never cracked it open. I don't have the time to invest in it, and I know it's a good game. And that's my problem with all Zelda games. It's like I start them and I love them, but then I get to a point and it's like okay, just and I kind of move on because I don't have the time to see them through the completion.
I mean, they get their hooks in me because they it's exactly what I want. I want to explore. I want to like go around. I want to take my time. I don't want to like. I'm not the person who rushes through the main story. I'm not like doing that at all. I'm doing all the
Mm,
weird shit on the sides and trying to find out what's going on. This is why I try to your point. I try to avoid these games as much as I possibly can. But then a Legend of Zelda and Assassin's Creed, something comes along and just destroys the hours that I put in throughout a year. So this was the first one that was like that. There was at least two this year that took a lot of my time. But yeah, the game is spectacular. Highly recommended. If you play the game, Wes, what I would recommend to you would be check out the Dark World. It's I think it's called the Dark World. I'll explain it to you this way. The map is tiered in three sections.
mm,
Sky Islands, like kind of like Skyward Swordish Islands, the main, land, and then like the depths. That's what it's called. It's the depths. It's below the surface, and it's pitch black. And when I say pitch black, like you might be able to see something. There's sections where you cannot see a single thing in any direction.
mm,
It like makes you feel like super like isolated and like you're like what the hell am I like where the hell am I supposed to go? And then you'll see like a flicker of light somewhere and you're like okay, I'm just going towards whatever that is. And eventually you can turn on like these they have these roots. They're called light roots or something, but you basically activate them and then it creates like a circle of light around them.
mm.
And you can light up the entire map that way, but it takes a long time because you're navigating this thing in darkness. So I really enjoyed that section of the game. Next up, Habroxia. Habroxia is a cool shooter, like a space shooter, like old school, like not a first person shooter.
Like a
Shooter.
shmup.
Shmup, yeah, there you go. I really, really liked it a lot. I did just start playing the second one. Highly recommend those games if you're into those. Prince of
What's that?
Persia,
What's that on?
everything. PlayStation, Xbox, Switch. It's on. I think it's on PC as well. Oh yeah, dude, Habroxia is awesome, man. And it's so the way it works is like they have these things called credits, which it's like a currency essentially,
Mm,
and you earn credits throughout the game. You don't have to use the credits, but if you do, it makes the game essentially easier. You can get like increase your fire rate,
mm,
increase shields, stuff like that. So it could be as challenging or as not challenging as you want, you know.
Hmm.
So it's cool. It's awesome. I really enjoy it.
I have to
Uh,
check it out.
just started the second one. That man, I think it's the first or second stage. There's some banger old school 8-bit song. And it's all like 8-bit pixel art. It's
Mhm.
cool. It's awesome. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was already mentioned, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it here. Again, Metroidvania, my style of game. If it was a 2D pixel art, that would have been awesome. But it's more like the 2. It's on like the 2.5D.
Mhm.
But the art is still beautiful in the game. To be fair, I do like their art direction quite a bit, despite it not being like real pixel art, which I don't think it necessarily calls for in that game. Super Lucky's Tale, just shy of 100% completing that, and that includes the DLC. This is the game I was talking about earlier that I mentioned. It's a fantastic game to play with children. My daughter was asking for that game every day. Highly recommend Super Lucky's Tale. Feels like an N64 game. That's the best way I can describe it.
Okay.
Like a platformer. Princess Peach Showtime. I beat it. My daughter loves this game.
uh
I will say that. I
huh.
mostly got it for her because I knew she was gonna love it. It has Princess Peach in it. That's all she wanted to do. I don't know how long I played that game for. I did not 100% this game. There's a lot of little collectibles. Once I beat it, I was so like over it. I was like, thank God, I'm done. And of course, my daughter kept asking for it, so I played it a few more times after that. But eventually, I got it, got it out of her mind, and she doesn't ask for it anymore. But it's a fine game.
I was gonna say, was it good though?
I think for a younger person, probably they like she's not really playing games yet. She's kind of starting to understand it. But I think if she was a little older, she would really like it because it's really easy, like very easy to play.
Mhm.
Not very challenging. Uh, it's interesting because it takes place on like a stage and like everything are like stage props, like a play. So that part of it was probably the most interesting thing because that you don't really see that in games at all. But I didn't really like. If you're like, oh my god, was it a great? I'd only recommend it for younger people or if you're playing it with a younger child.
Okay.
You would not enjoy this game, Wes. I played Asteroids Recharged. This was again. I'm going through my completed list, so everything I'm talking about right now is completed games. I consider that game completed. There's it's an arcade game, but there's they have these missions in there, and that's what I really got addicted to. I completed all their missions, and it was either the last one or the second to last one was like unbelievably hard, but I beat it. Got my achievement for beating all the missions. Dude, feel like Asteroids. It's a great version of Asteroids, and I want to say they might have the original on there too.
They did a lot of those like remakes or recharged versions
Atari's
of
doing all the recharge ones.
because there's a Space Invaders one,
Mm-hmm.
Infinity Gene, that I downloaded and started playing. It's just like a different twist on Space Invaders. So it's like, yeah, they're bringing these classics back with a twist.
Exactly. There's like a twist to all of them, or just slightly different. Like in Asteroids, I think they give you like 3 lives and power ups and stuff, but they would make the levels like more challenging and other stuff. Different things would happen. So
Hmm.
they're definitely changing things, but it's like the next evolution of those games. It's really cool to see. After that, I beat Super Mario Land of the Six Golden Coins. That's on the Game Boy. Uh, Classic game. Never beat it before. In fact, I don't think I've ever played it before. I don't remember playing that as a child. Very good game. Very good game. Even today. And it's pretty simple. It's not too difficult to play. So younger kids would be great for it. God of War Ragnarok. This was the other game I put
Mm.
tons of time into, Wes. I don't know how many hours it was. It was
Bro,
a
I
lot.
don't, I don't know why it took you so long to play that.
I explored, bro. I
Oh,
probably
that
beat
game
like
was so good.
I probably collected like 95% of the stuff in the game, like complete. Like if it was 100% complete, I was probably somewhere around like 95%.
Yeah, but you waited so long before you started playing it. That should have been priority.
And I love the first one too. I was just like, I don't have the time for this. I had to wait for the right window, and then once I did play it, I would say that after the second session, I was like, all right, we're doing this thing. I got to beat this game.
Okay. So out of the two, which was your favorite? Which did
Oh,
you
the
like
first
more?
one. First one was
Okay.
better. What do you think?
I like the first one too because the first one had that oh my god moment
Yeah,
that I never got in the second one. The second one was good.
it
It was
was good.
really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It had some twists and turns in the storyline and some plot twists, but I didn't get that one moment. Spoilers. 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 Like in the first one, where Kratos goes back to his house and digs up his blades of chaos.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler.
At this point, everybody should have played it, so it's almost it no longer is a spoiler. But yes, but that scene right there, like I was screaming because I
Oh,
just
dude, yeah. I was like, "What?" Like, oh man, like by that point in the game, you totally forget about the Blades of Chaos. Like they're not even in your mind.
right because you the axe was fun. That's all
Yeah.
you had, and it was like okay, all right, axe is great. I bet.
Yeah, that was certainly a moment, man. They weren't going to be able to recapture that. There's no way they could have recaptured that, obviously. Um, but the second one was good, and there was definitely the problem I had with the second one. Honestly, is there was too many cheese moments in it. And what I
Mm.
mean by that, like there was this thing Kratos and whatever his son's name is, I can't remember because
Atreus.
Atreus, sure, whatever, that guy. When they would talk, they would just like throughout the entire game, they're like, oh, be better. They said that so many times. Like, if you say be better one more time, I'm gonna throw this game in the trash can. Like, I was just like, what? Like, I get that's part of like your story or whatever, but it was just too much. It was too much cheese for me.
But it was still a fantastic game.
It still was, yeah. I could forgive it. I can get over that, but it was just like that wasn't in the first one at all. There wasn't one moment in the first game I was like, oh, that was really cheesy. The Pathless, a game I don't think I enjoyed that much. I would not. I would absolutely not say it's a bad game. I think it's a pretty good game, and I liked it a lot more with the ending. I will say that if I just beat this game or played this game and didn't beat it, I would probably have a much stronger opinion on the negative side.
Hmm.
Where the ending was very good and made me feel a lot more positive about the game. But this game is from the makers of Journey and also Abzu, I think they made, and some other stuff, right? So if you guys are familiar with either one of those games, you should have an idea of what kind of games they make. And it's really based on traversal and like you shoot these arrows, you hit these diamonds, and they propel you forward. So you can get like, a faster and faster speed. Think about like Spider-Man swinging his webs, and you can get faster and faster if you're like, in a cadence with them. But it was all there was a lot of exploring, which I liked. But I did platinum this game, and I was so over the game by the time I got the platinum, I couldn't believe it, Wes. I was like in tears, and I was so happy that I was over like done playing the game. And there was just a little too much to collect. The map was not. The map was probably a little bit bigger than it needed to be. It probably could have
Mm.
been smaller, and they probably could have took like a lot of the collectibles out of it because it took, time to beat was like 7 or 8 hours. That's why I picked the game. I think I played the game for 30 hours to get the platinum or something like that.
Okay.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It, I don't know. We'll talk more about it shortly. Star Wars Jedi Survivor completed that game. Got around 90% completion, I would say. Did not get everything.
Ooh, that's another one that was so good. That was so good.
I Going back to the God of War thing for 1 second. The first one was better than the second one. In this case, I think the second one is superior than the first one, like by far.
Yes.
Yeah, much better. I had a big problem with the first game. I feel I'm probably crazy or something, but I feel like the combat was there was just like a millisecond off. Like something was not responding fast enough. Like I'm talking about like 0.001. Like I was like losing fights all the time. Did not have that problem at all this time. No problems with the combat. I did have a lot of bugs though. I almost broke the game, I think, on two separate occasions, Wes. And I would have been furious if that happened because one was kind of like 10 hours in, and
Hmm.
the other one was like late game, and I was like, oh my god, dude, if I break this game, like, uh, but that early one, I really didn't think it took me about 50 minutes to fix what I broke in one of the puzzles,
Okay.
which it essentially trapped me. Or no, it didn't trap me. I'm sorry. Let me fix that. It did not trap me. I could have moved on with the game, but the collectible that I was like this close to getting, I would
Hmm.
not have been able to get if I didn't fix this thing
This
that I
thing.
accidentally did, where I threw a ball, like those orbs that create like
Hmm.
paths. I threw one back, like from a path that I've already been on that I didn't realize, and it was hard for me to get it in there. I just thought it was a challenge, and then getting it out was like 50,000 times harder than getting it in.
Oh man.
I figured it out, but it
Uh,
was a mess, man.
that was Survivor was so good. Story was good, gameplay was good,
Characters were good. I
characters
liked
were good.
pretty much all the characters in the game were awesome, man. Except for that one alien with the two eyes on its head in the beginning. God, I hated that thing. It was annoying. He was like what's his name from episode 1? Jar Jar. He was like another Jar
Jar
Jar.
Jar.
God, I did not need any Jar Jar vibes in my life.
Yeah, I went to New York Comic Con and met the actor that portrayed Cal Kestis in the game. Um, really nice guy. Really nice guy. I told him, I'm like, man, love the first two. Please give us a third one. So he's like, he wants to do it. So we'll see. Come on.
Oh, I think they'll do a third one. I think the game sold very well. It certainly sold better than Outlaws, that's for sure.
Oh, I hope so.
All right, so that's the games I completed. I'm gonna run through these next 10 games or so really quickly. Disney's Illusion Island. Played it for a while. It was pretty good. Daughter wasn't into it, so I moved on to something else. Castlevania Circle of the Moon is a game I
Mhm.
played before in the past. It's something I'm playing like off and on. I get in a weird mood. I grab Circle of the Moon. I play a little bit. So maybe I'll complete that this year if that continues. Feeding
Mhm.
Frenzy is an old school Xbox 360 arcade game. My daughter liked it. We played it for a while. Huntdown is an awesome, awesome indie game.
Yeah, it is.
2D pixel art, guns, like oh my god, dude, the 80s like vibes are just all over the place.
Yep. You know what? I totally forgot about that one. Yeah, that was that was really good.
I'm
I
so glad you
downloaded
played it.
I downloaded on your recommend because you know that's right at my alley. Old school retro style side
It's like
scrolling
a Contra
shooter.
like, I guess.
Yes.
Something like that.
Hunt Down was very good. Very good.
Highly
And it
recommended.
and it was cheap.
I think I got that game on sale for like $3 or $4. I couldn't believe it. Like I was watching YouTube and somebody was talking and I was like, that game looks awesome. And I forgot about it. And so I could never download it. I was like, what the hell was that game called? And then I think somebody else started talking about it. I was like, oh. And then I looked it up and it was like a couple bucks. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Mhm.
Bought that crap immediately. It was fantastic. Klonoa I mentioned earlier. I don't have anything else to say about Klonoa. AVGN episodes 1 and 2 deluxe edition. Solid game. It's like an indie game. Didn't complete it. Played it for quite a while. It's cool. There's stuff from Angry Video Game Nerd. That's what that
Mhm.
stands for. If you guys didn't know, it stands for like if you watched his YouTube videos and stuff. There's different characters that show up from like the episodes he's made and put out on YouTube. So it was fine. It was fine. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and Super Mario Wonder are my last two. So Super Mario Wonder, I have to play it more to really judge it. I didn't give it enough time. It's something I'm playing off and on. I don't. People were like, "Oh my god, this is like the best Mario game in years." I don't think so. Uh, I think it's a good Mario game. I think it's a serviceable Mario game, but it's not like blowing my mind. Finally, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Just started playing this. Whew! What a game, Wes. What a game, sir.
I hear it's really good. I hear it's really good. IGN gave it like a 9.
Made by Machine Games, the same people who remade, Wolfenstein. They did Wolfenstein. They did New Blood, New Order, or Old Blood, and then the New Order was number two.
Mhm.
Uh, they did make some. I think either made or helped make one of these like weird spin-off to Wolfenstein. It was like Sisters or something. I don't
Mm.
know. I started that game. It was not. It was somehow not very good. But now they're back to making bangers again.
Okay. Well, a lot of people are comparing it to Chronicles of Riddick.
Hmm.
They it just because that game was fantastic, and I don't know if some of the people from Starbreeze who did Chronicles of Riddick jumped on to make are part of this team that made Indy because they said it's very similar in the feel of the game. So I had it. I haven't started it yet. So this will probably be my game to talk about for next year.
I mean, Wes, if you like Indiana Jones, you're gonna love it. And like Troy Baker's performance is spectacular. More on that in a minute. That's basically everything that I played this year. With again, there's like shorter ones I didn't mention in here. A lot of good stuff, Wes. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, man. Looks like this was a good year for games, like as a whole. It was there's some stinkers in there, but as a whole, looks like we both have a decent list of good stuff that we've played.
Absolutely. All right, guys, it's time for the Stupid Game Awards. Couldn't come up with a better name. If you come up with one, let us know. We'll use it for next year. So we got a few awards to give out that are, just messing around, not so serious. Some of them are serious, like this first one. Let's start things out right, Wes. Our awards for our favorite new retro game. So this doesn't have to be a continuation of a series. It could just be a new game that has a retro style, or it could be like a new version of a retro game. What was your pick, Wes?
I picked Rugrats.
Now this is a
It's
brand new game.
see, this is where I kind of was thrown because limited run. I love them and hate them. Put out a NES version of this game. I always thought because I was kind of a late adopter to the NES because I went with the Sega route. So I thought Rugrats existed back then. I thought it was like they just kind of brought this game back, kind of like what they did with Felix the Cat. And it came out on Xbox, and it's graphically it's super impressive, play super smooth, but you can switch between the new graphics and the old 8-bit graphics. So, like I said, I was a little thrown when you said, no, this is a brand new game.
It is, but it's based on like its retro roots are there. Like it is inspired by that. They wanted to make the game as if they would have made it when Rugrats was relevant. That's why it is the way that it is, and that's why you're giving it the award. I'm assuming.
That's yes, because it was good. It's very impressive. Hard. That is definitely a hard game. It's it's hard.
It's mostly a platformer, right?
It is a platformer.
Hell yeah! I picked it up. I got to check it out still. Haven't had any time to do that one yet, but that's on my list of things to play.
Very impressive.
My pick. I already mentioned it earlier. Obviously, I mentioned a lot of stuff that I played. Asteroids Recharged. Shout out real quick, Yars Recharged, which is like a Yars Revenge remake. Very, very good also. But Asteroids is my heart. Like I love Asteroids so much. I don't know why. Can't explain it to you. I just do. And Recharged was such a great version, man. So I cannot recommend it enough. I think I got it for like $5 on sale or something, Wes. It's so good. If you
Yeah,
like Asteroids, it's worth it.
you keep talking about Asteroids Recharge. I might have to go download this.
Look, it's still before we're recording this before Christmas. This is going to come out in January. It's just like
Mhm.
a week before Christmas. It's probably still on sale. Go check it out. Next award, best mobile game. What do you got for us, Wes?
I'm not a big mobile game person, but everybody kept coaxing me to download this game, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. But they're like, you have to download it. You like superheroes? You
You
would
do
love
like
this game.
superheroes.
I do like superheroes. Uh, so I downloaded Marvel Snap begrudgingly, and
Marvel
I'm
Snap.
Marvel Snap,
Okay.
and I'm hooked. It's a card game. It's a card battle game. It's really good.
Was I'm sorry. Was this the new one? Because I thought the new one was Marvel Rivals. Are you playing
Marvel.
Rival?
No, I'm playing Marvel Snap. Marvel
Okay.
Rivals. It just came out, which is
Right.
more of a I don't like a Overwatch type of game.
Oh, okay. So what is Snap? I'm sorry. I thought I read. I know what you were picking,
Mhm.
but I didn't realize it was. I thought it was Rivals the entire time. So go ahead and tell me about Snap. I'm sorry.
No, Rivals is a console game.
What?
Hmm.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's for damn sure. I thought that was a mobile game also.
Yeah, I actually downloaded it for PS5. I just haven't started playing it yet.
Okay.
It's very Overwatch, but Marvel Snap is a card-based battle game. It's
Okay.
like each hero or villain has a card, and you play your card, and it has its power, and the card, like the character, has their powers, like as they do in the comics. So, like if you play a Magneto card, Magneto pulls cards to his side of the board.
That's cool.
Spider-Man, he swings. You play a Spider-Man card, he will swing, he will lift up and swing to another area, but then he will spin his web and pull another card along with him. So
Okay.
there's each character card does what their character attributes are. It's good, man. I'm so hooked on it. I didn't think I would like it because I don't like card battle games. I was never big like a Pokemon player or Yu-Gi-Oh player or a Magic player, but this has got me.
That's
This
cool,
has
man.
got me.
I'm not too big into card games either, but the one that I think would appeal to me the most because it's based off of poker is Balatro. And I did not play that this year, but I may have to check that out. Have you heard about Balatro?
Mm-mm.
It was nominated for Game of the Year, the Game Awards, and many other sites. But I haven't played it. But it is based off poker. If you like poker, something to check out if you need another mobile game to be addicted to. But it's also on consoles as well.
Hmm. Yeah, man. Like I said, that's. I'm not a big mobile game player. I use my phone to watch movies and TV and stuff, but now this has got me. Has got my attention. But I know you're not a big mobile game player.
No, not doing this, Wes. No, thank you.
That's
We can move
okay.
on to the next topic.
You got it. You got it.
uh, best game to play with a kid. I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to talk about it briefly here as well. Super Lucky's Tale is very, very, very good. There are some problems. It's not perfect. Let me be very clear. Also, it's not a perfect game. There's some minor things with it. Um, you just have to get used to some of the controls. Some of the mini games are kind of But the best way I could describe it is it feels like a Nintendo 64 game, and it's a fantastic game to play with someone younger. My daughter was asking me to play that game every day, like to the point where she wasn't, asking for anything else. Every morning she woke up, let's play Lucky. Lucky, where's Lucky? This game came out years ago. It's on Xbox, PlayStation.
Mhm.
It's pretty much on everything.
But isn't this like the main character like a little squirrel or fox or something?
It's a fox. Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now I can picture the game in my head. I got you.
Yeah, it's they're collecting different things. It's a
Mm-hmm.
platformer. It feel
Yep.
that's exactly what it is. The mini games could be very challenging for a child. Just so you know, like the mini games they start out very easy and they get progressively harder, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
mandatory either. Like you could just skip past them if you want to. But I did nearly 100% not only the game, but there was DLC. I did almost everything in this game, and I can't remember the last few things, but I was like annoyed. I was like, I'm not doing these last few things. I don't feel like it, and I gave up.
Hmm.
But definitely recommend that game, especially for playing with a kid. Any picks for you for game to play with a kid, Wes?
No, my kids are grown, so I have
Makes
no
sense.
idea.
Makes sense. People might start asking questions like, "Why are you playing games with kids, man? Your kids grown up." Next up, best sequel or spiritual successor that basically did the same thing but 1,000 times better. This award goes to Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. It's Breath of the Wild 7.0. They just advanced the game like 7 times ahead of what Breath of the Wild was, and it's fantastic. I can't recommend that game enough.
Eventually, I'll get around to it. I guess when I retire.
You don't have to spend 100. I'm just obsessive. You don't have to spend 150 hours, Wes. You can probably spend like 40 hours, something like that. A lot more manageable if you look at it that way.
Okay. All right. That's not too bad.
Best game with a laser sword. It's still Halo 2. I don't know what to tell you, people. There might as well not be another game with a laser sword. It's not a Star Wars game. It's Halo 2.
I don't know. I don't know,
What?
man. I don't know. I might have to. Okay, we have to make it give a runner up to Jedi Survivor
It's
because you
very
get
good. It's
because you
not
get
Halo
that,
2, Wes.
but you get that double edged lightsaber.
Oh
What?
yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
Okay, all right. So runner up will be Jedi Survivor. There you go.
Did I use? No, I did use the double edge. You're talking about like the one that's like Darth Maul, right? Like two
Yeah.
sided. Okay, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I used that one quite a bit, but by the time the one I used the most was the one from what is it called? The sequel trilogy? No, what's after the sequel trilogy? I don't even know. 789,
Hmm.
where he has that one that has like the looks like an upside down cross. I don't know what it's called. It has the
Oh yeah, that
that's the sword,
Kylo Ren sword.
super powerful one.
But it was slow.
I used it, man. I that was my number one. That was like that and the regular, uh, just the regular ass
Lightsaber.
lightsaber.
Okay.
And the one I used the least was that one that split apart. That thing sucked, man. I hated that thing. Stupid. The dual wield. But all right, I'll give you that shout out, Wes.
Okay. All right.
Award for being the most faithful to the source material. I already mentioned this earlier. Indiana Jones. Wes, I, the the game is an Indiana Jones movie. It's an Indiana Jones movie in a game form. Troy Baker sounds just like Harrison Ford.
That's
Like
what I hear.
I'm waiting for this dude to slip up at any point. Like he's not, bro. He sounds. I can't get. I'm like, man, because every time he talks, I'm just like, seeing, like, okay, is he gonna sound like Troy Baker?
Mhm.
Is he gonna do something different? Dude sounds like Harrison Ford all day. It's impressive.
I mean, Troy Baker is very talented. Very talented. Because he also did Joel from The Last of Us.
Yep, that's true. Yep.
So he is really talented. So I'm not surprised he pulled off Harrison Ford.
But you, but he sounds just like him though. Like pulling, like he can act like Indiana Jones, and that's one thing. But the dude sounds like Harrison Ford. It's very impressive. The story is like an Indiana Jones story. It's like they made a brand new Indiana Jones movie
Hmm.
that's stuck between I don't know what it would have been like 1 and 2 or something like that.
Between Raiders and Temple of Doom.
Maybe it was 2 and 3. It was something like that. I don't freaking remember. But it's like a movie was just stuck in between those. Dude, it feels like Indiana Jones. The things that happen are like an Indiana Jones movie.
Hmm.
Just superb work. That's all I could say. And I'm not done the game yet, to be fair, just so you guys know. I'm probably like, well, to my point earlier, I spend way too much time. I'm still in the Vatican, which is like early on in the game, but I'm probably
Hmm.
like 20 hours in the game, Wes. I'm like,
Oh wow. Okay.
maybe not 20. That might be exaggerating a little bit. I would say 10 to 15, somewhere around there. But I'm getting everything. Like I'm looking for as much stuff as I possibly can before I move on, you know?
Okay. So you are doing a lot of exploring, not just kind of running through it.
Yeah, you could absolutely main path it. There's a very clear, hey, this is the main path, and
Hmm.
here's the 40 other things you can do in this area. Next, we have the game we were compelled to complete, despite indifference. I don't know yours, but mine was the Pathless. I already mentioned it earlier. I'm not going to really get into it anymore.
Hmm.
That game, it was fine. It was a fine game, Wes. What was your pick?
You know what? I picked Alone in the Dark. Alone in the Dark, the new one, the
Okay.
2024 release.
The 2024 one. Okay. Yeah, that
Yep.
got not great reviews.
It. You know what? Was big budget. It had David Harbour in it. You know, from Stranger Things, as like the main character.
He's awesome.
He is. The voice acting was good. It just, I don't know. It just didn't it was it didn't grab me like I really wanted it to. And I've played the previous versions of Alone in the Dark and I enjoyed them, but this one was, I mean, it wasn't bad. It was fine. But it was like I was like invested in it, so I just kind of trudged through it.
Hey, I do that sometimes. And I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna beat this game, like the Pathless, right? I'm gonna do this. It's going to happen. All right, guys, our last award, the best PC game of 2024. And that brings us to our game of the year for 2024. Basically, the best game that we played this year doesn't have to necessarily be something from 2024. Wes, would you like to begin, sir?
This is going to be interesting
To be fair,
because
we didn't talk
we
about
don't
this ahead of time.
we did not, so we don't know what each other picked. But
That's
something
right.
tells me we might have picked the same game,
Maybe.
maybe. But no, we never talked about it, so I don't know what his game of the year is. He doesn't know what mine is, but I'm gonna kick it off. The best game that I played this year, my award goes to Prince of Persia,
The Lost Crown?
The Lost Crown.
Okay. All right.
That game was fantastic. And I tried not to show my enthusiasm earlier. That game was fantastic. It was perfect from beginning to end.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very, very good. The platforming was good. Parts of it were hard as hell. I think I was playing on
Yeah.
normal.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely was not playing on easy. I was playing on normal or hard. Couldn't tell you which one it was, but I beat that game. Let me check real quick. So I wrote that down in my doc. I beat that game exactly 94.69%. That last 5%,
Mm-hmm.
no thank you. I can't, no. Mm-mm. But that
Yeah.
94 point whatever, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Wes.
Oh, so good. Story was good. Animation was good. Graphics were good. Combat was spot on.
Combat was really cool, man. Really cool.
But that, like you said, it was tough. I had more trouble with the traps more so than the combat.
Like the instant kills, right? Like
Those
all the stuff.
blades
Yeah.
and yeah, like those, yeah, the traps were
Right.
I
But
man.
but when you
Mm-hmm.
hit one of those traps, boom, you're right back into the game, back to wherever your last little checkpoint or save point was, like, and you just try it again. It's not like brutal. It's not like, great, I got to spend 15 minutes getting back to that point and then try it again. No, you're relatively where you need to be. So it's like not that big of a deal. Although
Yeah,
you may
but
have to try it 500 times. You're
that's the thing. You get if it's a pretty long trap you're trying to maneuver through
hmm.
and you die, you got to do that all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get like that burst, that I don't know what you call it, where you like strive forward. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
the hell's that called? Where you like
like a
move.
like a dash.
Yeah, like a dash. Thank you, Jesus God, my mind is mush.
Mm,
Yeah, a dash when you dash forward and like you have to like drop down and then you have to like do a double jump and dude, you had
mm-hmm.
to do such perfect stuff in that game. So challenging, so challenging.
But so good, so good. It really upset me that Ubisoft labeled it as a failure, as good as that game was, and as all the reviewers gave it like a 10.
It got great reviews, but in the sales, they considered a failure based off of the sales.
Right. They had such high projections for it and they didn't meet it. And because of that, they killed the sequel that was initially greenlit. And they broke up the team that developed it.
I don't think the sequel was greenlit. I think the team was like starting to like come up with like concept art and stuff like that. But then they disbanded the team like before anything could really get off the ground.
Oh, why? Why? They gave us one of the best games in a long time.
I mean, their company's falling apart. Like they need money right now more than anything. And if this game costs them money, first of all, I just want to say this: I don't think there's any chance that game cost them money. Like, was it a pretty game? Yes, absolutely. But we're talking about like a 2D Metroidvania style game, not a 3D Prince of Persia that's AAA. That would have cost an enormous
Mm-hmm.
amount of money. They're two different scales. So if you're even thinking about bringing back Prince of Persia, this should have been your path forward, not a
Mm-hmm.
AAA, Prince of Persia game that's like, 200,000 or sorry, $200 million or something like that to make. Like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, man. Ubisoft, but no, you release Star Wars Outlaws, please. But yeah, you know what? And it's the funny thing is, I wasn't sure how I was going to take to this game because it was a different style of the Prince of Persia that I was expecting. Again, I was expecting Sands of Time, 3D platformer running around, and then I got the 2D Metroidvania style, and I was like, eh. But at the same time, it kind of harkens back to the original Prince of Persia, where it was set in a castle with a whole bunch of traps and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, and loved it, loved it, loved it. So that's my game. I can't talk about it enough. It was, if you haven't played it, everybody should be playing it.
You should. Absolutely.
Definitely one of the best games in 2024. Your turn.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is the best game that I played in 2024.
Okay.
It's I feel let's just talk about them disbanding the team. Like, just disgust. I could like the game was so good, man. It was, and I this is somebody who's never really played a Prince of Persia game. Granted, I have like apparently all of them. Even some weird one on PS3 that didn't sell well. At least I don't think it did. That game was so unique and different,
Mm-hmm.
and it was exactly what I like in video games. For the most part, I like that and like Zelda likes and stuff like that. Uh, to get a new game that was that superior and to not basically we know there's never going to be a sequel. Like, at least if
Mm-mm.
there is a sequel, so much time will have to pass, and that property may have to exchange hands outside of Ubisoft to somebody else in order for us to see a sequel to that game again. Like, we're talking probably a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. I'm not saying years, I'm saying decades, by the way. Very clear.
Mm.
You're not getting a sequel to this game anytime soon or ever. Period.
Yeah, because you figure this was the first Prince of Persia game since Xbox 360
Yeah, they made one on 360 and PS3 that was
that
just
Jake
called Prince of
that
Persia and it was cell shaded.
that Jake Gyllenhaal one, the one based
Well,
off
they
that
made that one was different. I was talking about the cell shaded one, but they came. I don't know which one came out last.
the the Jake Gyllenhaal one came out last.
Okay.
That the Forgotten Sands, or I think it's called.
Yes.
Yep. No, the cell shaded one was okay.
Okay.
Coming off of like the Sands of Time trilogy, it was okay. And then you had the Forgotten Sands, which it was fine. But this was the Lost Kingdom or
The Lost Crown.
the Lost Crown. That's something totally different. Oh man, it was so good.
Yeah, the combat, the music. The one thing I could say that they could have used some improvement was like maybe like the voice acting could have gotten a little bit better. Um, the story was pretty good. There's probably a little bit of opportunity there too, but as I mentioned in the very beginning of this, if you're still with us from the very beginning of the show, gameplay matters most to me. And I mean, the gameplay, when every time you die in this game, it is your fault. 100% you messed up. There's no
Yeah,
question about it.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. 100%. And I love the power ups that he got.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. You changed those out of that tree, and then there was that what the hell was that thing called? It was like a giant or something that had like that amulet. The
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is it called? What the hell? The forge. You go to the forge. Thank you, my brain from a while ago. and you get those new stuff from there as well. Definitely some cool stuff, man.
And then fighting different enemies gave you different abilities,
Mm-hmm.
like the dash,
Yep. Get the double
like
jump.
the double jump, like the shadow, like leaving a shadow of yourself that you can teleport to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those are really cool. I mean, I know the double jump is very standard. Even the dash is pretty standard at
Mm-hmm.
most things, but they just did it right, man. They just did basically everything in the game right on their first attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how much better a second attempt? I can't. I can't even. Dude, it hurts to think about it. It hurts. And in case you guys are wondering, why did I not pick Tears of the Kingdom? Because that would have been my number 2 pick. It was too much of like Breath of the Wild. Like it was a true sequel, and this was like nothing before it, right? Sure, it like took inspiration from Metroidvanias. I understand that, but this was a new property, right? Breath of the Wild blew everyone's mind because it was a new property. Tears of
Mm-hmm.
the Kingdom didn't have that same pop because of that. It was like, oh, dude, it's Breath of the Wild times 1,000. It was a way better version, but this was new and different and exciting. And Ubisoft's like, no, sorry, idiots. Go keep making your live service games. What's the one you just shut down? You shut down one recently. I don't remember what the hell it was called because no one played it. But go ahead and keep doing those live service games. Go ahead. How did that Ghost Recon live service game go? What's that? Nobody played it? Yeah, I remember. I remember.
And they still didn't give me my Beyond Good and Evil.
Wes, give it up, man.
I
It's,
know.
Ubisoft's going to be sold to somebody this year, most likely. And if you're lucky, they'll have enough capital to pump that thing out. But it just might be dead and gone, sir.
I don't see Ubisoft being around too much longer because the decisions they're making are just idiotic and makes no sense. And
How do you have to have like make budget conscious games, like make smaller games like this that like appeal to maybe not a mass audience, but enough people who are there that are going to preach you from the heavens that your game is a critical darling, like everyone
mm-hmm.
needs to check out. That's how you guys got Rayman off the ground. Like Rayman was like whatever on PS1, but then you made Legends, right? And Legends was awesome. And you made, whatever the other one was. There was Rayman Legends, Rayman. I'm not going to remember. But you made another Rayman game that was fantastic, right? You made Child of Light. You made incredible first person, or I'm sorry, single player games.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're so focused on live service, like, oh, let's make another one of these, another one of these. They're going to continue to fail, just so you guys know.
Pretty much. I mean, the only shining spot that I could see Ubisoft giving us is Splinter Cell whenever that decides to come out.
I have no faith in that either.
I gotta have some hope.
The last great game I played from them was, well, Prince of Persia, right?
Prince of Persia.
But before that would have been Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that was probably like 5 years ago. I mean, even 5 years ago, they were in a different position than they're in now.
Yeah, it's like I had Mirage, and I heard Mirage was good. It kind of harkened back to the original, like what Assassin's Creed used to be. I haven't. I started it, didn't really get very far because I started playing something else like right after.
Yeah, I never
So
played Mirage. Is one of the few Assassin's Creed games I never played, and it's something I will play eventually. But I got so addicted to like the Odyssey style that I was like, "Oh, you're bringing it back? Like, I don't want that now. You gave me this. Why would I want that?"
but we do get the Ninja one coming out next year
True.
or this year.
It's this year. It'll be in February, I think. Well, there's our game of the year pick, guys. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I don't know that you're ever going to see me and Wes align on something again. Just so you guys know, like our tastes are very different for the most part.
They are.
So this is shocking. It should be shocking. But yeah, a fantastic game. Please make sure you guys go check that out. Now we're going to move on to our pulse check. Wes, me or you? Who's going first today? I got the low pick this time. You got the high pick. Why don't I go first? I'll just get it out
You
of the
go
way.
first.
You
You
talk
go
about the
first.
high pick. Low pick, we talked about it already today. So I wanted to kind of keep something in the flow and the theme of the game of the year, Star Wars, Jedi Survivor. It's on sale like everywhere right now. Here's your pricing for price charting. You got the loose disc of Jedi Survivor. Wes, a whopping $16 that thing will run you. If you want to collect it in a complete in box, you got $20 on your pocket. You got yourself a copy.
The best $20 you'll spend.
And if you want a sealed one, also $20. So there you have it. $20 will get you an awesome game. The price charting one that we're looking at, if you haven't already looked at the picture, if maybe you're an audio listener, we're talking about the Xbox Series X version. The PlayStation version is slightly higher. Not by much.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
I wonder why.
I honestly, like, Xbox isn't supporting physical media as much. I'd imagine like collectors are just collecting the PS3 version, and they can PlayStation version. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
And PlayStation can probably keep their prices up higher than Xbox. Retailers are discounting the discs faster on Xbox because they're not selling as fast.
Okay.
That would be my assumption.
You would think, like, going forward, though, if Microsoft isn't producing a whole lot of physical discs, you would think that that shift would go the other way. We'll see.
Yes, but the retailers are just not going to carry their products. So it'll be interesting to see what Microsoft does. Like I think I mentioned this to you before. This is off subject, but the Target near my house does not have a physical Xbox section anymore. They're only cards, like downloadable cards, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else. GameStop is purportedly, doing that in the future as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But Jedi Survivor, really, really good game for dirt cheap.
Dirt cheap. Get it. What you got for us, Wes?
I picked like an off the wall Xbox 360 game, Fatal Inertia.
Racing game.
It was a Wipeout type of game. If anybody's familiar with Wipeout, it was hovercrafts, combat, weapons, racing game. Yeah, it kind of snuck in under the radar. It was, like I said, it was one of those like Wipeout clones. At that point, hovercraft combat was a thing. And loose Fatal Inertia is $61.
Quite a bit for an Xbox game, that's for sure.
Just a disc? I know.
This is an Xbox 360 game, by the way.
Xbox 360.
I don't know if we mentioned that or not. I don't know.
Complete in box, $61 also.
That doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
Well, that kind of is like the only thing I could take away from that is that the print run is so low that if these are going up for sale, people are just paying whatever they're around what they're asking for, as long as it's not egregious, just to get a copy of the game.
Yeah, and then if you happen to find a brand new sealed copy, that's where the price jumps. You're looking at $280.
There you go. That's a pretty hefty jump.
For a 360 game?
Yeah.
360 games are usually pretty cheap.
This now,
this is one of the rare ones. Yeah, this is one of the rare ones where you're going to wind up paying a hefty penny for a sealed copy of a 360 game.
Yeah, and 360 is on the rise. So if you find a complete in box copy, I would recommend picking that up because the price, at least in the foreseeable future, like in the next couple of years, it's probably just going to continue to go up. It may dip eventually again, when the popularity wanes. But right now, 360 is on the rise, so it's only going to get more expensive, at least for in the short term, in my opinion.
Did you ever play it?
No, but I can see the cover in my head, and I know what it looks like, but I never played it. I found out probably a few months ago that game was like getting up there in price, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
It was like one of those games that you kind of forget about.
I forgot about it until I saw it again.
Yeah, like nobody thinks about it. Hey, it wasn't okay as far as a game goes itself. It was okay. It was fine. It was Wipeout. It was a Wipeout clone. It was made by I think it was made by Tecmo Koei.
I don't remember, but yeah, it I'm sure that game had a low print run to begin with. They weren't like when they made that game, they weren't like we're gonna sell 1,000,000 copies. They're probably like we're gonna sell this amount, and it's gonna be just enough to make our money back with some profit.
Yeah, it was actually, you know what? I'm just gonna check real quick. It was yeah, it was made by Koei. You know, and it did actually come out on PS3 like a year because it came out in 2007 for 360, and then it came out like a year later in Japan though. It's like I don't think I ever saw an American release for PS3, but
That's
anyway,
interesting.
yeah. But anyway,
All right, guys, there you go. Pick up those two titles that we mentioned if you feel inclined to do so. I just want to thank you, Wes, for being here today. Appreciate your time, sir. If people want to find you, where can they do so?
you can follow me on Instagram at Grendel5XPX.
Awesome. I'm Matt. You guys can follow me at from NJ2CA. The 2 is the number 2 over on Twitter or X or whatever you'd like to call it. Please make sure you guys are following the company at Nerd Enthusiast on all social media platforms. And if you liked what you heard today, please consider supporting us over on Patreon. Patreon.com/Nerd Enthusiast. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. And if you liked what you heard today, please consider giving us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really helps us out, and it's totally free, so there's no excuse not to do so. All right, guys, until next time, y'all take care.
Have a good one, guys.